Hello, viewers, welcome back. In previous video, we discussed about the outbreak of a conflict, assassination in Sarajevo, nationalism, militarism, and a tangled webs of alliances, key fronts and battles of the Great War, the war's global reach. Without wasting your valuable time, let's get started. A continent redrawn, the Treaty of Versailles, and new borders. The guns fell silent in 1918, but the true reshaping of Europe was only just beginning. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, acted as a scalpel, carving up empires and redrawing boundaries. New nations like Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia emerged, fueled by promises of self-determination. Germany, deemed responsible for the war, faced harsh penalties and territorial losses. These new borders, often drawn with little regard for historical context or ethnic groups, created tensions that would simmer for decades. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, once a major power, was dissolved. Millions of people found themselves living in new countries, often as minorities facing discrimination. The seeds of future conflicts, from ethnic clashes to territorial disputes, were sown in the ashes of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to ensure lasting peace, instead fostered resentment and instability. Germany, burdened by reparations and territorial losses, became fertile ground for extremist ideologies. The humiliation and economic hardship fueled a desire for revenge, setting the stage for the rise of nationalism and, eventually, the eruption of World War II. The redrawing of borders also had profound cultural and social implications. Languages and traditions, once shared within vast empires, were now divided by newly established frontiers. Families were separated, and the free flow of people and ideas was disrupted. The map of Europe had been irrevocably altered, and with it, the continent's cultural and political landscape. The crumbling of empires from Tsarist Russia to the Ottoman decline. World War I not only redrew borders but shattered empires. The Romanov dynasty in Russia, weakened by war and internal strife, collapsed in 1917. The Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized power, ushering in the Soviet Union and a new era of communist ideology. The Ottoman Empire, once a vast power stretching across 3 continents, also crumbled under the weight of war. Nationalist movements within its diverse populations gained strength, fueled by the promise of self-determination. The Ottoman Empire's demise led to the creation of new states in the Middle East, including Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. The collapse of these empires created power vacuums and fueled regional instability. In Russia, a brutal civil war erupted, further devastating the country and leaving a legacy of political repression. In the Middle East, the fall of the Ottoman Empire led to conflicts over territory and resources, many of which continue to this day. The war's impact on empires extended beyond Europe and the Middle East. Japan, a rising power, seized the opportunity to expand its influence in Asia, taking advantage of a weakened European presence. The war also accelerated the decline of British imperial power, as colonies that had contributed troops and resources to the war effort began to demand greater autonomy. Scars on the land, economic ruin, and the seeds of future conflict. The war's physical and economic devastation was profound. Battlefields, once fertile farmlands, lay barren, scarred by trenches and littered with unexploded ordnance. Entire cities were reduced to rubble, their industries shattered. The cost of the war, both in terms of human life and financial resources, was staggering. The Treaty of Versailles, with its heavy reparations imposed on Germany, further hindered economic recovery. Germany, struggling to rebuild its infrastructure and repay its debts, faced hyperinflation and widespread unemployment. The economic turmoil fueled social unrest and political instability, creating an environment ripe for extremist ideologies to take root. The war also disrupted global trade patterns and financial systems. European nations, once economic powerhouses, emerged from the conflict deeply in debt. The United States, relatively unscathed by the war, emerged as a major creditor nation, altering the balance of global economic power. The economic consequences of World War I had far-reaching consequences. The global depression of the 1930s, fueled in part by the war's economic aftershocks, further destabilized the international order. The economic hardships and resentment engendered by the war contributed to the rise of nationalism, protectionism, and ultimately the outbreak of another world war. A generation transformed, shifting societal roles and women's rights. World War I brought about profound social transformations, particularly for women. With millions of men away fighting, women took on roles traditionally reserved for men. They worked in factories, producing munitions and other war materials, and served as nurses caring for the wounded on the front lines. This wartime experience challenged traditional gender roles and expectations. Women proved their competence and resilience, demonstrating that they were capable of contributing to society in ways previously unimaginable. This newfound agency fueled the women's suffrage movement, with many countries, including Britain and the United States, granting women the right to vote in the years after the war. The war also led to changes in fashion and social mores. With fabric in short supply, women's clothing became more practical and less restrictive. Hemlines rose, corsets were loosened, and women adopted shorter hairstyles, reflecting the need for practicality and mobility in a wartime society. However, these social shifts were not always welcomed. The return of men from the front lines led to tensions as they sought to reclaim their pre-war roles. Women who had become accustomed to economic independence and social freedom often faced pressure to return to domesticity. The struggle for gender equality, while advanced by the war, was far from over. Section 5. Medical marvels and scars advancements born from the trenches. The horrors of World War I spurred significant advancements in medicine and surgery. The unprecedented scale of casualties, coupled with the gruesome nature of trench warfare injuries, forced doctors to develop new techniques and treatments. Plastic surgery, for example, made significant strides during the war, as surgeons sought to repair the disfiguring facial injuries suffered by soldiers in the trenches. Blood transfusions, still in their infancy before the war, became more common, as doctors recognized the life-saving potential of replacing lost blood. Advances in prosthetics designed to replace limbs lost in battle also emerged from the war effort. However, the war's legacy on medicine extended beyond technological advancements. The psychological toll of the war, particularly on those who had witnessed its horrors firsthand, led to a greater understanding of trauma and its lasting effects. The term shell shock, used to describe the psychological trauma suffered by soldiers, entered the lexicon, highlighting the invisible wounds of war. The war also had a lasting impact on public health. The influenza pandemic of 1918, which spread rapidly among soldiers confined to crowded trenches and hospitals, killed millions worldwide. The pandemic highlighted the importance of public health measures and the need for international cooperation in combating infectious diseases. Section 6. Echoes in the Future. The long shadow of the Great War. The echoes of World War I reverberated throughout the 20th century, shaping global politics, social movements, and artistic expression. The war shattered the illusion of progress and cast a long shadow of disillusionment over the West. Writers and artists, grappling with the war's horrors, produced works that reflected the cynicism and despair of a generation. The war also contributed to the rise of extremist ideologies. The Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, inspired in part by the war's chaos and social upheaval, ushered in an era of communist rule. In Italy and Germany, the war's economic devastation and political instability created fertile ground for the rise of fascism and Nazism. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to prevent future wars, ultimately sowed the seeds for another global conflict. The harsh penalties imposed on Germany, coupled with the redrawing of borders and the creation of new states with unresolved grievances, created a climate of resentment and instability that contributed to the outbreak of World War II. The war's impact on global power dynamics was also profound. The decline of European empires, coupled with the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union, ushered in a new era of superpower rivalry that would define the latter half of the 20th century. Section 7. From Versailles to the Cold War. A world forever altered. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in the opulent Palace of Versailles, aimed to secure a lasting peace. However, its provisions, particularly the harsh terms imposed on Germany, sowed the seeds of resentment that would contribute to future conflicts. The war's end marked not a return to normalcy, but the beginning of a new world order, one characterized by shifting alliances, ideological clashes, and the looming threat of another global conflict. The rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan, fueled by nationalist fervor and economic grievances, threatened the fragile peace. The failure of the League of Nations, established in the aftermath of World War I to prevent future conflicts, to effectively address the growing aggression of these regimes, further heightened global tensions. The outbreak of World War II in 1939, a mere 2 decades after the armistice that ended the Great War, tragically demonstrated the limitations of the Treaty of Versailles and the enduring legacy of unresolved grievances. The world, once again engulfed in a global conflict, faced even greater devastation and a profound shift in the global balance of power. The aftermath of World War II witnessed the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, their ideological rivalry shaping the latter half of the 20th century. The Cold War, with its constant threat of nuclear annihilation, cast a long shadow over the world, a stark reminder of the devastating potential of unchecked aggression and ideological conflict. Section 8. The enduring legacy lessons unlearned and the price of peace. The echoes of World War I continue to resonate in the 21st century. The war's legacy serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict, the fragility of peace, and the importance of diplomacy and international cooperation in resolving disputes. The unresolved grievances, economic inequalities, and nationalist sentiments that contributed to the outbreak of both world wars continue to pose challenges in the present day. The rise of populism, nationalism, and ethnic conflicts in various parts of the world underscores the enduring relevance of the lessons of World War I. The interconnectedness of the globalized world, while offering unprecedented opportunities for cooperation and progress, also amplifies the potential consequences of conflict and instability. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it is imperative to remember the lessons of the past. The echoes of World War I, a conflict that tragically reshaped the world, serve as a solemn reminder of the enduring human cost of war and the paramount importance of striving for peace. The pursuit of a more just, equitable, and peaceful world requires vigilance, understanding, and a commitment to dialogue and cooperation. The legacy of World War I, with all its complexities and tragedies, can serve as a guidepost, reminding us of the importance of these enduring values in our quest for a better future. Thank you for watching. To support us, please do like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification bell icon. Stay tuned for more videos. See you soon.